Well, hello again. Now we're gonna continue with our instructions and trainings, and now you're gonna see how to book a ride that has a pickup, drop off, or both outside of Fargo. So, when we have rides that are outside of Fargo city area and suburb area, that means that the pickup and the drop offs have locations that are further away from Fargo. The only difference that's gonna happen between that and the normal fare when you take all the informations as we spoke in previous videos, the only difference is going to be we're gonna enter pick up and the drop off or the drop off location if necessary as Doyle's yellow checker cab. You're gonna see what I'm speaking about right now. So, for example, customer calls and they say, I want to be picked up in Detroit Lakes and be driven to Fargo. So, the difference that's going to happen here is in the address, the pickup address, the start address. It's not going to be the address which they ask to be picked up. It's going to be Doyle's yellow checker cab. Why is that the reason? Because for these out of town rides, we have to charge the customer even the trip that our cab is going to take to reach Detroit Lakes. So for these pickups that happen out of town, the starting point, the pickup point is going to be Doyle's yellow checker cab. And then you're going to use, as explained in the previous videos, the multiple stop pickup option. And you're going to enter their address in Detroit Lakes. For example, uh, they're going to tell you an address in Detroit Lakes, and then you're going to be able to choose it and set it. So this is going to be your real pickup. And now the customer is coming back to Fargo. So we have a departure from Fargo to go for a pickup outside of Fargo and then drop off in Fargo. In this case, let's put Shields Arena, and there we go. So we have this fare now with the pickup and the drop off. Bear in mind that these pickups that happen outside or Fargo, they have to be paid always upfront unless they are accounts. So that means if somebody calls to get a ride like this, they're gonna have to pay upfront. The other thing that's really important here is if it's not a immediately get me a ride as soon as possible, and as we already spoke, you can tell the customer how fast we can arrive through the assessment here. If it's for some future time, you're gonna need to calculate when does the cab need to go leave Fargo to reach the pickup point on time. So if, for example, customer wants this fare to happen tomorrow, and they want to be picked up at 9 a.m. in the morning, we gonna need to know how long ahead we gonna need to send this cab. So that means our cab has to be in Detroit Lakes at 9 a.m. So to be there, we gonna need to calculate when will he need to depart Fargo. We can do that by using Google Maps. We type in Fargo to the address where the customer wants to be picked up. So we gotta know we need to leave Fargo, for example, let's say 120 minutes or 2 hours ahead. So what that's gonna tell us is, or tell the driver or the system, he is going to receive a fare 2 hours ahead so he can leave the Fargo on time to arrive there at 9 a.m. So this is an important point for future outside of town fairs. So when we have that done and we fill out all the other data that we spoke about before, we can dispatch that job and that's set. In the case that the pickup is in outside of Fargo, and the drop off is outside of Fargo. We need to apply the same concept, so that means we're gonna just add another leg of Doyle's or in that fare or job. So what's gonna happen there? We're gonna have a pickup in, for example, Detroit Lakes going to Fergus Falls. So as because the pickup is outside of Fargo, we're gonna go with Doyle's. We're gonna set the legs, and then the customer wants to go to Fergus Falls. So they're gonna give you an address in Fergus Falls. And okay, so we have our departure from Fargo to go to Detroit Lakes, take the customer from Detroit Lakes to Fergus Falls. Bear in mind uh, that the lead time, always calculate that if it's not immediate pickup, immediate departure. But now the difference between the pickup in outside of Fargo and the drop off in Fargo and this fare in this case, pickup and drop off outside of Fargo, is that the drop off destination for a customer, because it's out of town Fargo, it will not be destination. It's gonna be here in VS or a stop points. So we're gonna need to, because we're gonna drop off the customer outside of Fargo, our cab has to return later back to Fargo. So we're gonna set the customer's drop off point as a via or a stop point, and then when that is done, we need to set Doyle's as the destination so our cab driver can return back to Fargo. All the other information you already filled in or are in the process of filling in, and you can release that job, as we said, with all the other things that you learned. That's it for out of town to out of town pickup and drop off.